So I'm revisiting the girl with the flaxen hair, and I sort of go to the tricky parts first. One of the tricky places is after you do this. Tricky because there's a lot of octaves and you have to voice toward the top finger of the octave, and then in between the octaves you drop a finger, and it's either a fourth and a fifth inside of that, or it's a fifth and a fourth inside between the octaves. You can see fifth and fourth, and so you have to get the feel of that. First thing I do is sometimes I tell the students just to do the very top finger of this three boys connector here. I just say, just do this 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, lean and last, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, most, and this is not an octave, so just to get sort of the outline of it and how you're moving laterally and you're floating your arm with your finger. I always say the arm takes the finger, not the finger takes the arm. And then I say, let's do octaves now. Of course, you want to hear the top. Disappear at the end there. Now in terms of what it feels like to drop the note in between this outer octave, you might go slowly just to get the feel. That's the fourth and the fifth, and now we have the fifth and the fourth. Then we're back to the fifth and the fourth. Now here there's going to be an interesting connection. The 4 can go to the 5 here. The octave goes 4, 5, and the middle notes go 2, 3. So that's very nice. It creates the most seamless legato we can get out of this. Now we're back to 5 to 3 here. Now notice we have 5, 5 on the outside, but we can connect by way of the 2, 3 on the inside. Try to loosen that up. Try to get my arm to do that because I get a little tight there. You have to be careful that you don't squeeze anything to get that beautiful flow with the nice spacing and the nice wavy legato. Well, that's a challenge of this, is because you're bundling these notes, 3 notes together, and you have some octaves that you can't really connect. You have to figure out what fingers inside the octaves can create the connection. So that takes a bit of cognition, but it really is feel. You have to figure out, certainly lay out the fingering. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing here, but I'm going to skip that step because you know how I do it. Here again we have 5, 5, and we have 2, 3 in the middle to help. Now we have 4, 5, and 2, 3 here. A little rotation. There's a crescendo there. When you say crescendo, he doesn't want you to go to a very big dynamic. He just wants to swell up. So you say between a P and an MP. A double P for the first half of this, then going higher with a P going maybe to an MP, or maybe a little bit of an MF, but quickly falling back down. So you have to gauge your dynamics on this second playing, where he's going higher, intensifying a little bit. That's enough. You don't want to get super crescendo there. This is not the climax of the piece. The climax of the piece, I will point out, comes earlier than this. So that's sort of how I work it out. And then I try to see if I can go right across, bundling everything. 1, 2, 3, push, come down. This is the one I get mixed up. To do that again. tricky one because of the fingering. 5-5-5. That's better. You know, it just never seems relaxed enough because of the fact that you've got these octaves. You want to imagine that you're just playing the top note and not being bundled in with so many notes. So you have to kind of release that idea of so many notes being bundled. Think of the top note. So really free everything. So free it. Free it. You know when you do free your arms, you can sense when you finally let go. You can only let go if you've done the preparation of what indeed you're dealing with. What are the intervals? What's the octaves? What are the fingerings and all that? But you can't get tight down here or you will lose that phrasing that you want, the freedom of the flow of that line. Now in the left hand under this is a tricky place. I look at the bottom voice, which is first half. And what I'm going to bundle on top of that are fifths and fourths. So fifth and fourth, fifth, fifth, fourth, fifth, 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 fifth. Okay, so it's a little bit more symmetrical. And it fits the hand much better than up here with the octaves on the outside. It comes out of this 5-1. Part's a little trickier. Let's see if I can look at the bottom voice. 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1, 1, and then we're over to this. That could be a lot freer. So if I put it together. Okay, that was a little freer. That's what I wanted. Now, putting this together, you can see how tricky this is. So you go very slowly. I'm talking about the second phrase now. 1, 2, 3, I'm not sure that is as free as I want it yet. So I'd probably use a double pedal because it's double P. And so I really want to mute it down. And this is marked mouvement sans lourdeur, which means it's back to the tempo, because remember, before this we did a little bit of a stretch. Move it along. Push. I get off the soft pedal. About the best I can do right now, because you are dealing with those octaves and you are going to try to use your arms and just let your arms float across this as much as you can. And I'd keep practicing until it was totally floating on my arms and I didn't feel any impact down here or any squeezing down on the bottom. And that takes a lot of practice. Practice for relaxation. See little waves going through this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That seemed a little freer to me. Okay. A lot of experimentation. The experimentation is the feedback of the physical and the musical and the ear listening for all three things. Okay. Now, any other tricky parts? Another tricky part is measure 14, and you have 4 voices here. You have a prominent soprano voice and then an inner voice that's quite interesting. So the upper voice has these finger switches in order to create legato. That's 14, which you go 3, 4, 5, 4, 3-4, 3, 2-4. It's the only way I can do the legato between that. And inside of that I have a pure legato. I could do it. Together. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then the left hand we have, and this is very symmetrical, fourths and fourths and fourths and fourths. Surprise is the F flat there. We didn't expect an F flat. That's a surprise. gonna get a seamless legato now. Remember, I'm back tempo here, but I am trying to get the seamless legato and trying to balance toward the top. Rolling up and down. Then he goes up. And one should swell a little into the keys as you go up. Echo now. Now you have a set of sequences here. Next one, a little bigger. Most. Push. That's the climax of the piece. Push. Right down to two. Then we're at up. Practically missed that one. I have to be so sure of that fingering. That was called a fake on that one. I'm trying not to fake it this time. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Now I've got it right. All right. As long as you correct it, you always want to go back if something happens. And find those linking fingers. That's the tricky one because of the way the octaves work right here. Then you have to actually can't connect that, but you do the illusion of connecting it. The pedal helps too, but the pedal can't play legato for you. The fingers do the legato. I mean, the fingers, the arms, the connecting fingers, the way you use your supple wrist create the legato, but it doesn't give you exclusively itself a legato. Okay, so those were some of the hard places. And then we come back at the end to murmuring, and it picks up what we did on the first page when we went. Except now he's going to extend it, and it's going to be much more extended. Now I give this a little more sound. So I can die away here. Anyway, so that's that. That murmuring comes back and it's extended, and I would practice it the same way. Top voice, middle voice, and then I do the parallel fourths. They're all fourths in the left hand. Okay, any other tricky places? I think there's one other tricky place. When you're coming down here, finger switch to 5, finger switch to thumb, and then this has to be just right. That's just right. Crescendo. And we're back. Miss notes, but that's the idea. So that looks like the hardest places. I think we covered them. Now the beginning comes back. It's an echo, a memory.